Hey guys, it's your boy, Anthony Fantano here, and welcome back to a low budget review. So, um, well, not really, this isn't even a low budget review at all, it's literally just me. This is my first ever album review, and we are reviewing the latest album from Trapt, Shadow Work, which is this cover art here. Yeah, I have to admit that they went really, really crazy with this. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so this is gonna be fun. Um, so this is gonna be this is an interesting one because, well, because it's Trapt. Trapt is not the most respected band out there, especially recently with their lead singer, Chris Taylor Brown, who was this gentleman right here. If you don't know about the recent tweets, he has said some pretty interesting pro-Trump things. I'm not gonna say I like Trump or dislike Trump, but yeah, he's an interesting guy. But on one of his tweets, he said on which I'm gonna go to Loudwire here because they have the screenshot apparently. Um, so let's just take a look. At like one of the tweets. So this is a tweet that was sent out. The new Trapt album, Shadow Work, is the best piece of music Trapt has put out and probably one of the top 5 albums that will ever exist for all time. Okay, so let me just say this. I will do my best to separate his political views from his work. That's how I am with pretty much all artists, all musicians, all filmmakers, anyone in the art realm. So, but I will be uh basing this album review off of that one tweet I just showed you, right? So, how to describe this album? It's like Nickelback basically. You know, that one band that thinks they're a metal band but they're very very poppy, you know. That's they're pretty metal, you know. Only difference is that with Trapt, they were metal at some point, but then once you listen to Shadow Work, they only have a few songs that are kind of heavy, but the rest of it is essentially just contemporary Christian pop music. Honestly, when I was listening to the album, I had an entire notes thing for. I wrote down a bunch of notes for it. See, these are all the notes that I wrote. I won't show you all of it, but honestly, it wasn't. I was genuine. If you can tell from a lot of these, I was genuinely trying my best to find a single positive thing about a lot of these songs, with the exception of "Save Your Soul," which I will get to later on. Um, yeah, this album I can't. But trying to find a good thing about this album about the songs, and trying to find a bad thing was really hard because each of the songs were pretty much the same to one another. It wasn't anything special. It was the same shit over and over again. All the guitar tones were kind of a meh for me, and then Chris Taylor Brown's voice isn't bad, but it isn't great either. And then in terms of the lyrics, with a lot of the songs, it felt like I was legitimately listening to Christian contemporary pop music or contemporary Christian pop music, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Honestly, I th- and speaking of the lyrics, I didn't find them memorable. Whenever I listen to lyrics, I always expect myself to be like, huh, those are some really deep lyrics. I should look more into that. Just like with bands like Tool, their song Lateralis, those are the types of lyrics that interest me. If you've listened to the song Lateralis, you'll understand what I mean. If you haven't, I would check it out and look into the lyrics because it has a really deep meaning to it that to this day no one has ever been able to decipher. But that's going beyond besides the point. That's kind of going. I digress, but in terms of the lyrics were not very memorable, and the music itself was just not very amazing. For someone that claims that this is like the best music ever, it really wasn't. It's like if I had to, if I bet I want to try to compare this to another band that is considered to be the greatest band of all time, and it's the Beatles. I'm not going to compare their entire discography because of the fact that they've actually because by because of the fact that they've had more albums. I'm pretty sure they've had more albums than Trapt, and the thing with Beatles is that they actually have been more revolutionary. And also I just want to mention this is that it's I find it so funny that Trapt says that it's the best music ever when it only got 600 copies sold on its first week of release, which really says a lot about this album. But on it, but if you want this, but yeah, I should have said this at the beginning. This is such a disorganized video, by the way. If I just, I would have to say that to summarize this album, don't listen to it. It's not worth your time. The only song on there that might actually be at least redeemable would be "Save Your Soul," because of the fact that it's the most different out of everything. I mean, it's still radio metal, but at least they incorporated instruments like piano, for instance, and added calm sections. Kind of not like in the style of bands like Opeth, for instance, but it was still good. It was still a real something really different for them at least. But then again, I haven't listened to all their albums. I've only really listened to Headstrong, but I don't know. I wasn't really, but yeah, in general, it wasn't that great of an album. It could have it. I'm not really surprised because of all the drama and everything. A lot of people were pretty much turned away from it, and after listening to it, it makes the it adds another reason to why people shouldn't listen to it. It genuinely isn't a good album. Just summarize it. It's the same shit over and over. There's really nothing to pick at it because of the fact that each of the songs are so similar and just copy and paste. And the lyrics are not very memorable. And then let's and just in general, it wasn't worth it. I know I keep repeating the same thing over and over, but it really wasn't worth it. If I had to rate the album, I would rate it a solid 2 to 3 out of 10. That's how I'm feeling about it because of the fact that "Save Your Soul" is the only good song on there. So yeah, that's my review. That was a really shitty review, but hey, I was pretty honest about it. But anyway, that's all I have. See ya.